Today in the Smugglers Room, it's all about egg storage. No, seriously, today we're talking about eggs. No. That's coming up. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian and welcome to the Smugglers Room. This week, this chubby geek is going to showcase work done by others. That's right, over the last couple of months, there's been a challenge out there in the Outer Rim, and people have been building replicas of the Frog Lady's egg container. What? I'm serious, it's a real thing. We're talking about The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2, The Passenger, where the Frog Lady has an egg container backpack. You know, the one that Grogu seems to love too much. David White of Whiteys Wicked Workshop put together a Facebook group for the Frog Lady Egg Challenge, and other makers joined in to participate in this build-off. So, since David started the whole thing off, let's start off this episode with his version of the Egg Lady container.
Hey Grogu, get out of there. You can't be eating those eggs. Give me that egg. No? Oh, this guy. He won't stay away from this thing. Hi guys, I'm Whitey from Whitey's Wicked Workshop. Let's see, a little bit about myself. I'm an electrical engineer for an aluminum company. I was deathly afraid of doing things with wood. I always worked with electricity, and I did a little bit of piping, because piping and electricity are kind of the same, if you think about it. So I started this build and my YouTube channel kind of when I found the Smugglers Room. So I was already remodeling the basement, and I figured that's a great idea. Why don't I do that to mine? I'll make a theater here, and it'll be cool. Star Wars, I love Star Wars. And at the time, Mandalorian just came out. Family was getting together, and we were all watching. It was kind of like old time when we were kids. It doesn't get any better than that. We all love the same thing, and it's awesome. Yeah, I'll always blame Brian for that, but it's probably the best thing that I ever did. Not only did I find a lot of cool friends on the internet from all parts of the globe, but I also found a really good trade and hobby that I really enjoy. It's great coming down here and just thinking about something, putting it on paper, and then actually building it with your own hands. It's the best feeling that you'll ever get. And just sitting back and thinking about what you did, it's kind of amazing. It's awesome, and I suggest you give it a shot. Peace.
Thank you, David. I love all the different variety of found parts and used things that you were able to put together to pull off that prop. The lighting and everything, just really tie it together, and it's going to be a great piece in your room. Also, thanks again for putting this all together for all of these other makers to jump in and tackle this project. You're going to find a link to David's YouTube channel in the notes below. So go over there, have a look, and see his room build and the other things he's got going on. Next up is our friend Darren. And for Darren's version, yeah, you're gonna get a kick out of this, but we're gonna go ahead and let Darren walk you through his build.
Hey everyone, Darren, Dr. Sci-Fi here. And for my entry into the Frog Lady Challenge, I decided rather than just make the full-size egg container, I wanted to take it in a different direction. So I ended up making a puppet of the Frog Lady with a little egg container on her back. Hope you enjoy. I first found a Kermit the Frog pattern and went to my local Joann's to look for some different kinds of patterned fabric that would really sell that Frog Lady texture. Lots of purple and lots of green in this. So simply cut that out and transferred it to my fabric, and then after trimming it to allow some seam allowance, then I loaded up the fabric, making sure that it would match the color I needed. And it's great with all the seams being on the inside because it gives a clean look to the puppet on the outside. I'd have to make the head about twice to get it to the right size, and just put in a bit of pink felt for the mouth. Then I did the same thing for the jacket. Just found a jacket pattern, turned it inside out, sewed it on, and added a little bit of brown straps for the harness. Got some giant buttons to be the eyes as well as the gills. putting a little thread there for the lens. Also had to cut these off and re-glue them to make her look less angry. And then it was on to the egg container. Used a hand sanitizer bottle, a little bit of foam for the details, and some pom-poms glued on the inside for the eggs. I wanted to keep it very light so it wasn't adding a lot of weight onto my wrist. And one last little bit of detail for the control panel. I decided to glue her hands to the straps, so the only movement was really going to be her mouth and just a lot of expression there. I mean, she doesn't really talk basic or anything like that in the film, but I think it turned out great. It was a lot of fun to be a part of this project, and I'm really looking forward to sharing more of my creations.
You know what I love about makers? They're always thinking outside the box. And Darren, my friend, this is one I would never have thought of, and it's hilarious and awesome. I love the originality out of this and how you were able to pull it all together and have it truly resemble that character. Down below in the show notes, you're going to find a link to Darren, aka Dr. Sci-Fi, for his YouTube channel. Next up, we have our friend Anthony and his version of the Frog Lady egg container.
Hi, my name is Anthony, and I'm a Star Wars geek from Southern California.
When I was invited to do this challenge, I decided I wanted to go cheap, fast, and dirty. I mostly ended up going cheap and dirty. I wanted to do a project that was made from upcycled goods, recycling, and things I had lying around the house and from other previous projects that I hadn't completed. I'd already spent a bunch of money on a different couple of projects, and I wanted to make this one cheap, just for my wife's sake. So, I went cheap.
Anthony, my friend, there is nothing wrong with going a little cheap. I think often when you limit the budget of a project, it allows you to get more creative and use more things that maybe you wouldn't have with a bigger budget. I loved that you used an old cheese ball container for your actual container. And the use of that old modem for the control panel, that's the essence of building something out of nothing. Now you can find more of Anthony's builds by following the link to his Instagram account that we've put in the show notes below. So what's next? Well, how about we take a look at Joshua's egg container and let's introduce a little 3D magic and 3D printing as well as an excellent backdrop display. Joshua was able to model a lot of the different parts he was going to use for the container project in Blender. Then he printed on an FDM printer out of PLA. He used a glass vase for the main body, as well as a waterproof camera dome for the top. So far we've seen parts made from everyday objects, a puppet creation, and more. Here we have Joshua using his skills as a 3D artist and the power of 3D printing that has added another element of making to a real-world object. I love the variety in this project and others. Some were using a tool like a 3D printer, and others were using everyday found objects and a limited amount of tools. Either way, it's a maker expressing the creativity that they have to build this project. By the way, Joshua, I love the backdrop you used on your project. That ProVent paneling, along with some of the other details and the weathering, really helped your project stand out in front and give it an atmosphere around it. It was super cool. Now we've linked Joshua's YouTube channel and other social links in the description below. Give it a look and see some of the other work he's done. Now let me ask you, have you ever really thought about what life would be traveling around the world in a New Hope camper trailer? Well, our friend Seth, he knows all about that. And he built his egg container so that he could take it right along with him.
Man, these eggs, they are so good. Grogo, you mind if I have the last one? Oh, excuse me, sorry. I'm Seth, captain of the New Hope camper. So thanks to the Smugglers Room for allowing me to talk about my Frog Lady egg container build. And to Weird Al Yankovic for helping me develop my great sense of humor. Hey Brian, can you tag him in this video? So this was built from all repurposed or found materials. The lid and the base were a cooking pot from a thrift store. This was a cheese ball container. The filter was from a vacuum cleaner. Even the eggs themselves were just old golf balls. So the most challenging part of this build was probably making the eggs float. Bouncy ball floated too much, the golf ball sank. So I needed to have something the same density as the water. So using the force, I took the two and pushed them together. Just kidding. What we did was altered the density of the water by slowly adding salt until the golf ball floated. I mean our eggs. This build did three things for me. Inspired me to design, challenged me to create, and encouraged me to enjoy this work. I hope you found the same enjoyment and the same challenge through watching all these guys build and their videos.
Seth laying down a little bit of science for us and Weird Al. But I'll tell you, I love it. I love the mix of parts and pieces and how you put it together. And cheeseball containers. You and Anthony are on the same path. Now you can find out all about Seth's New Hope camper and all the progress he's making by following the link below to his YouTube channel. Next, we're going to go all the way across the globe and check out what Steven has made and how he's sharing a little bit of that building something out of nothing philosophy.
What's happening, guys? I'm Steven from the Rebel Workshop and I love making anything to do with Star Wars. From replica props, custom blasters, lightsabers, and even anything to go in my Star Wars inspired workshop room. And this is my Frog Lady egg container. So I don't have access to a 3D printer, laser cutter, anything fancy like that, so I have to rely on found objects, which I know Brian loves doing as well. I found a 4.5 litre jar and a few bits of pieces that I had lying around, and this is what I used to start building the container. For everything else I used this stuff, which is cinch wrap foam PVC board. It's lightweight but rigid and it's great for model making. So the first thing I did was to make the eggs out of bouncy balls and some silicone. I've never moulded silicone before, so this was an experience, but I really enjoyed it. So after that, it was all the parts for the container, which I made out of the cinch wrap material, which is great for model making. It glues well together, it sands pretty well, and it's heat malleable as well, so if you heat it up and bend it around something, it stays in that shape. Then after some painting and slight weathering, it was done. And I think it turned out amazing. It even opens up. So you can check out the full build on my own channel. Thanks for sharing, Brian.
Fantastic, Steven. That Sintra PVC board is something I really need to start using in projects. Maybe for the Mandalorian armor, if we ever get to it. No, it's really cool the way you were able to cut it, form it, and make it work for the actual project you were building. And I noticed the little Legos for the switches, which is super sweet. And I'm glad you dove in and did some mold making. Those eggs came out perfect, and I would really like to try that entire process that you did in this build. Steven has a lot of other Star Wars builds on his channel. So follow the links below and see what else he might inspire you to build. The next maker is another fellow room builder, Matthew from the Rebels Refuge. Let's take a look at his egg container challenge.
Hey everybody, it's Matthew from the Rebels Refuge, and this here is my entrance into the Frog Lady Egg Canister Challenge from May the 4th be with you. Hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Matthew's build, like others we've seen today, is a great use of raw materials, used materials, with one difference. He introduced us to clear Elmer's glue for the liquid inside the egg container. What? Am I the only nerf herder in the galaxy that has not heard of clear Elmer's glue? My brain sort of exploded with this bit of knowledge. That's science, man. Let me tell you, it's awesome stuff.
If you want to see the full build on this project, make sure to check out our video on May 14th.
This egg prop turned out really great, Matthew, and it's going to be an awesome addition to your room build, man. Now, you can find the full build to Matthew's egg container, as well as others, on his channel by following the links below. Okay, my friends, last, but certainly not least, is our friend Dennis and his awesome egg container build.
Hi, my name's Dennis, and this is the Black Market Outpost, where we make Star Wars out of everyday items.
We're finishing this project share off with Dennis and his awesome use of all kinds of found goodies. Dennis's build is just another great way of utilizing everyday items in the ways you may not have thought of before. Everything from an array of plumbing parts, electrical boxes, LEDs, and tiny beads? I'm not sure, Dennis, you're gonna have to let us know in the comments below, but what a great way to get all those balls to hover in place. Dennis, I love all the parts you used and the way that you assembled them all to get your final result. You can find more of Dennis and his Black Market Outpost by following the links to his YouTube channel in the notes below. David, man, thank you very much again for putting the challenge together, and a huge thank you to all of you that submitted footage of your projects that we could share on the channel today. Seeing all these different makers working on the same project really makes my fingers itch to get in the shop and start building something. I love the way each of them took on the project in a different and unique way, problem solved, and came out with an ultimate project that they were super happy with. I'm really hoping that seeing all these builders dive in and create this project inspires you to jump into your own. No matter how much or little experience you have, I promise you'll unlock something you never thought of before. And who knows, you might even get addicted to building something out of nothing.